when they first came here, they got the bat poop out of here. And that's how they made the gunpowder to arm the soldiers for.
Our adventure this week begins in the beautiful mountains of Virginia, where we visit one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. After a long drive, we finally got to our campsite at the Jellystone Park of Natural Bridge.
And that's camping.
Our camping site was right across from the James River. This is one of the main riverways in Virginia. It goes all the way from the mountains to the coast. If you were to ride this water, you'd end up at Virginia Beach. As you can see, the river was flowing a lot higher than usual. That was due to the recent storms that we had passed through just a week before.
We are at the Jellystone Natural Bridge Campground. This is our first experience here at Jellystone. But this is great. They have a really awesome pool. We're right on the river, which is really high today because of recent storms. I'll show you. We got up really early this morning and had our coffee. We're taking Oscar out for a walk. We're gonna go, of course, walk Natural Bridge today, or the trail to Natural Bridge. And there's some caverns we're gonna check out too. So very exciting. We're gonna show you all of that as we go.
The Natural Bridge area is now a state park, but it hasn't been a state park for very long. In fact, it was only in 2016 that this became a state park. Before that, it was privately owned by various owners, including Thomas Jefferson.
We took the tram back up.
We took the tram back up.
Yeah. Gotta get a sticker. Yeah. What? Oh, fire.
The light's up too.
Though the Natural Bridge is of course naturally made, it is strong enough to support a roadway. In fact, when you come into the park, you drive right across the very bridge you are seeing now.
You know, we drove right over that on the way in here.
I know all of my American history from Hannah.
Sun's just not hitting it right now. But that's it.
Though the giant archway is the main attraction, the trail continues along Cedar Creek to many more attractions. This here is the Saltpeter Cave. This cave actually played a part in the Revolutionary War.
You've never been in there? It's fun. And it's like air conditioning down there. If you've ever felt it.
I could be a cave lady.
Yeah. Come, if you go on down, it opens back up.
Come around, guys.
I could be a cave lady.
When they first came here, they got the bat poop out of here. And that's how they made the gunpowder to arm the soldiers for the Revolutionary War. You remember when we had the bats over there at Whit Austin?
Yeah.
If I had realized how valuable that bat poop was, I could have been scooping it up.
To make gunpowder.
Yeah, because there was water all over the driveway.
I know, but that's just how they make gunpowder. That stuff's worth a lot of money.
Some things never change.
I know it. You're right. Are you going to go out on the rocks like you used to?
No, not with this guy. That's rushing.
The next thing that you come to is the Lost River. This river usually doesn't overflow like this, but because of the recent storms, it was really gushing this time. Nobody knows where this river comes from. It's hidden inside the mountain. The trail ends with a lookout point at Lace Falls.
Honey?
Yep, I got him.
Turn around there, bud.
There are other side trails that are off the main trail, but we were in a hurry to get to our appointment for the Caverns Tour. Not far from the Natural Bridge is the Caverns at Natural Bridge. Even if you come here in the middle of summer, it's a good idea to bring a jacket or a sweatshirt along with you because it can get pretty chilly outside of those caverns. There are many nice wonders in the cavern, and the tour guide is sure to tell you all about them.
Pretty big hole. It's called a solution hole. You'll see it better in just a second when I let you look around the room. And what that means is that if you were to take the walk around gift shop, it could find this exact spot on the surface, and one day you will. It's a sinkhole. And what that means is that one day all of these beautiful, delicate rocks are going to come crashing down right where we're standing. But that's okay. It's not supposed to happen for like another, what's today? I'm kidding. It's not supposed to happen for like 1,500 years. Doesn't matter what today is. You've got 1,500 to 2,000 years. It's going to be fine. Got a couple more. The other side, I'll meet you right back over here before we head down to the deepest point.
Look at that. Oh wow, whoops.
And then it transitions.
There's a lot of places in this tour where there's lots of steps. And these steps can be very slick, so be very careful as you go through the tour.
That step right there is really
Lift it up, be careful.
Step right here is really slick.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here.
You will slide.
Where I'm at.
This is one of them. This is the fault line.
Around this room before we talk about it while we're waiting on people to come down the steps. From where we are to the rock is 100 feet. From the rock back to the surface is another 247. So you are 347 feet below the Earth's surface. That's more than 30 stories or like football fields up in them, to give you some perspective.
For a second, I was like, oh gosh,
That boulder just hanging right there.
Stand right here so I can catch you. Careful right through here.
For the final part of the tour guide turns the lights out and lets you experience total darkness. So if you're afraid of the dark, this might not be for you.
Alright, so I'm going to turn the lights off in the room that we came from first. And then I'm going to turn the lights off in here in 3, 2, 1. Alright. I'm going to turn the lights back on in here. Shut the shield rod. Turn off the concentrate. And it's a still great. Everybody forgot to wallet.
The caverns at Natural Bridge were a lot of fun. It's the perfect thing to do on a very hot summer's day because it stays so cool down in the caverns. As we began to work our way back to the surface, we only had one thing on our mind, and that was finding a good place to eat. Though the choices in the area are quite slim, there is a very nice restaurant called the Peak Cadillac Diner, which is apparently exclusively for Elvis fans. After that, we just went back to the resort and chilled out by the pool for the rest of the day.
All right, now about a little bit of history. Some people like this part of the video and some people don't. But I think it's important to tell you a little bit about the history of the places that we go. As I said in the video, Thomas Jefferson was one of the original owners of the Natural Bridge area, which is now the state park. He died deep in debt. Everything that he owned was auctioned off. I encourage you to really study up about Thomas Jefferson. He was part of our country from the very beginning, part of the Declaration of Independence. They say that he's the one that wrote the majority of the Declaration of Independence. You could say that maybe it's kind of like the Civil War was going on in Thomas Jefferson's mind before it ever became a battle on a battlefield. It was going on inside of his mind. He was a slave owner himself, but he hated it. He hated everything about slavery, but he didn't know how to get rid of it. He made many efforts to do that, to get rid of slavery, but he just didn't quite know how. Right from the very beginning, the Northwest Territory, which at first was considered a part of Virginia, so we're talking about Ohio through Michigan and all that area. He's the one that separated that area from Virginia and made all those other states. And one of the first things that he demanded was that slave be forbidden or banned in the Northwest region. So you can see how one thing leads to another. That's how the North became more free and the South became more engrossed with slavery. And so those two areas that started out in the mind of Thomas Jefferson ended up coming into conflict later on. Here's another really good thing that's very interesting. is the story of John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson and John Adams were completely political rivals, but they were best friends at the same time. In fact, they spent most of their last days conversing with each other through letters. This is what's very interesting. They both died on the exact same day, and the day that they both died was July 4th. 50 years, exactly 50 years from the signing of Declaration of Independence is when John Adams and Thomas Jefferson died on the exact same day. And they were still friends, even though they were political rivals. And I think that that's a good example of how we should be in America today. We can disagree, but that doesn't mean we have to hate. I think that that's a good example from Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, that we can be political rivals, we can have differences of opinions, but we don't have to hate each other. We can still be best friends just like they were. And it's a very interesting thing that they both died on the same day, just hours apart, and it was on July 4th. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you study more about our history and you go to these places where you can find out more about what happened in these areas, like the Natural Bridge area. You know, that's not very far from where General Lee surrendered to Grant in the Civil War. That happened there in Virginia. So it's very, very, very good to travel to these places, get a first-hand look at it. This is the exact place where this happened. And when you go there and you see these places that events took place, it gives you a much higher appreciation for our country and the decisions that were made that brought us to the place we are now. If you've ever wondered, well, how did we ever get to this place? Study history. And the best thing that you can do is learn from history. The good things that they did, the bad things that they did, the decisions that they made, and the results that came out of it. What things worked, what things didn't work. And by studying the things of the past, we can make better decisions for the future. So study your history, learn from history so we don't have to repeat it. As I mentioned in this video,